when you have, let's imagine this is you, right? And you have this karmic connection in your life. Let's say father, toxic father, right? Who created father wound within you, toxic masculine energy. For a very long time, because it's something that's happening from your childhood, you think it's you. I was never enough. I was never enough for him to love me. I was never man enough for him to appreciate. I was never man enough for him to see an equal. He always saw me as below, right? There's a moment when you awaken that you realize it was not me. It was him. He was projecting his woundings, his traumas on me. It wasn't me. It was his insecurities. People who are insecure belittle others because they think that through belittling others, they will feel superior towards them because that they don't feel that superiority. They actually have low self-esteem. It's a defense mechanism to wounding. Perhaps his father did the same thing to them, and his father did, but you want to break that generational curse, right? So you wake up and you're like, it's not me, it's them. It's actually them. So now what you have to realize that despite the fact that it's them projecting their insecurities on you, their traumas on you, their unhealed woundings on you, you are the gatekeeper. And being the gatekeeper, you have to understand, okay, this was not me. I am not who he sees me as. I am who I am. Now I have to find myself, who I am, and heal my woundings. Because despite the fact that it's him projecting things on me, how I feel about those things, that's already on me. So if he projecting his insecurities is still triggering me, is still making me suffer, causing me pain, it means that I still have something within me that believes partially or entirely that whatever he's projecting is true. So if I truly heal, if I truly know I am man enough, I am actually the real divine masculine, and he was wounded, distorted masculine, I will no longer be triggered by what he says. I will no longer be triggered by how he sees me, because now I know the truth. And now this is the moment, the most beautiful moment. I know it's him. It's his journey, his projection, his woundings. I already healed, so I'm no longer triggered by this. But I create a boundary. Despite the fact I'm no longer triggered by this karmic person, our example, this karmic father, this distorted toxic masculine, I'm no longer triggered because I've healed. Now I'm in my true divine masculine. I know it wasn't me, it was him. So he no longer triggers me with his behavior. I'm completely neutral. But that doesn't mean that I cannot create a boundary. I must create a boundary and say, no, I don't want you in my life, my karmic person. You no longer affect me, you no longer trigger me, but I deserve better because now I see me through my own eyes, through eyes of the divine, not through your wounded eyes. I see me, I deserve more, I deserve better. And this is where it is so hard to break the program, especially if this karmic person is a father or a mother or someone in a family, because we think we owe them something. We think we have to have them in our life. Well, let me break this to you. We don't. If it's really toxic energy, you can completely cut them out. You can stop talking to them. You can stop spending time and choose you. If you are truly healed, this will come naturally to you. If you feel like that's not necessary and that's not something you want to do because they're not completely distorted and not completely wounded, you can just create a boundary. I'm going to talk to you once a week. I'm not going to tell you my secrets. I'm not going to explain to you how I live my life. Because you have your story, I have mine. You have your journey, I have mine. We're completely different people. The contract has been closed. I have learned my lesson. Contract only has to be closed on your end. I always say this. Whether they close that contract on their end, it's on them. It's their problem. You close it on your end. It's very difficult to cut out someone who's family member, because it's a societal program. We're being taught from childhood that we have to love our parents, right? And that we have to be there for them, that we have to have a relationship with them. It's frowned upon when we're not talked to our father, when we're not talked to our mother, right? And it's a different expectation from them, which is a very bizarre thing, because logically I would put more pressure on the parent, right? Because they're first in this world. They're supposed to care for you. They're supposed to give you everything, create who you are, right? So it's very difficult, not just because of the society, but also because life is not black and white, right? So if someone is like truly, really toxic, evil, abusive, narcissistic, psychopathic, it's easier, relatively easier to cut them out. But if people have also, good traits and positive traits, we tend to hold on to those and use them as excuse. It's difficult, right? But here's my advice, what you can do. Take a piece of paper and put it in half, right? Depending on what's the type of your relationship and how often you interact with this person, you can do this for your last 3 months or 6 months. Put in all the good things that this person caused in your life in those last 3 months, and all the negative things. And when I said good things, I don't mean things like, well, my mother, I'm going to have a relationship with her because she sometimes stays and watches my kid. Or because last month we were sick and she made us some food and brought it to our house. That is something that Domino's, okay, can do for you. That is something that your friend and a nanny can do for you, your neighbor can do for you. I'm talking here about actual things that a mother, if that's a mother, or a father, or a sister, or an actual friend, whoever karmic you're analyzing, can do to you. So how many times in those last 3 months, do a list. How many times they have cheered me up? How many times I laughed because of them? How many times they helped me to see my light? How many times I was feeling down and they took me out of that emotion? How many times they taught me something new? How many times they've given me a better perspective and outlook of something that I wasn't seeing right? How many times I grew because of that relationship? Write that down. How many times I felt loved? How many times I felt seen, nourished, appreciated? And then go to the other side of the card. How many times I felt like shit because of them? How many times I cried? How many times I got triggered? Yes, I always say that the trigger is something that we have to heal within, but still, how many times they triggered me? How many times they made me feel like I'm not enough? How many times they put on an expectation on me that it was not really my obligation to meet? How many times they were criticizing me? How many times they're criticizing me for being my authentic me sign and doing what I actually want to do, because that's not their vision of me. And then look at that list. If this side, the positive side, is not at least minimum 4 times longer, 4 or 5 times longer than the negative side, chop. They don't belong to your life. If it's somewhere like in the middle, we can sometimes maybe weight it down, right? Because they have a good part to our life, they have the negative part. So okay, they're my parent, they're my family, they're like my friend from childhood. I'm okay for now for them to stick around, but still put in a boundary. Start to analyze how they make you feel. What do I have to heal to neutralize this? What boundary do I have to put in to let them know this is not okay with me? This will not fly anymore. I do not want this energy in my life.